Welcome back everyone to the Blender Creator course, Stylized 3D Models, and this is where we left it off. Alright, now let's think about let's have a look. So we've got this part here and we need to just change this wall, and I'm thinking then we can actually create this roof, and finally then we can do the top up here, and that's the way we'll go. So I'm also thinking as well that I'm just actually looking at my own model. That's what I tend to actually do as well. And I think what we'll do is we'll actually start with this part here. So if I press 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make a broken part coming down here. So I'm just going to press tab. I'm going to press K and just grab it from there, going down like so, making a broken piece of wall. Now the other thing is we didn't discuss is when you're actually doing this, we should actually be triangulating it as well. So we're going to do that as well. Let's just first of all though, pull it back because it's easier to triangulate once you've actually finished it. So E, pull it back like so. We don't want it too much of a gap there. We just want it to look a bit broken. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press 3 again. I'm going to press U and Smart U, where is it? Project from view. Click OK. Let's go to the shading panel. And then what we'll do is we'll click the plus, we'll click the down, and we're looking for broken wall. And then what we're going to do is we're going to press tab, click assign, and there we go. Here's our broken wall. Now what we want to do is you really want to line it up to be the same size as this one here. So we want to make this, if I press S, I can bring it out. And what I'm looking for is to make sure that it's roughly the same size as here, which I can see that it is. Now let's, we want to basically bring this wall up as well. So G and Y, bring it up just so it's fitting into place right at the bottom of there. Press the tab button. And there you go, there's your broken wall on this bit. Now let's put our other broken wall. So we'll have one more broken wall coming in this bit here. So what I'll do is I'll come to this bit, same sort of thing, only a little bit smaller. So K, grab it from here, like so, enter. And then what we'll do is we'll pull this back. So E, pull it back, like so. And then what we'll do is again, 3, and then U, project from view, down arrow, broken wall, sorry, not broken wall like that. In fact, let's just go back. So down arrow, oops, what am I doing here? There it is, down arrow, where's my wall? In fact, that's actually not working. So we're just going to come in, grab this one, Control L, and link materials. There we go. Perfect. Now I can come back to this one, and I have a broken wall, so I can click assign. Perfect. Now let's make this bigger. So what we want to do, obviously, is we want to make sure that it's the same size as these over here. So you can see here now, they're looking around the same size as those ones, and that looks perfect. Now let's talk about triangulation. So if I come into here, I'm going to press tab, I'm going to press A, I'm going to right click, triangulate faces, and then right click and tries to quads. That's what I always do as well. Now the thing is, it might look messy, but at least it's not an n-gon, which means that it's going to be a much better mesh. You know, we could go around and really clean this mesh up, adding in some edge loops and things like that, and then it would really clean it up. But I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to do the same on this one then. So I'm going to right click, triangulate faces, tries to quads, and there we go. Okay, now let's think about our next piece of wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this one, Shift D, I'm going to bring it up then, and put this into place, and then work my way along. So we can see now we can actually pick up the pace if we really want to. The other thing is as well, I'm going to probably delete this part now. So I'm going to delete this part out of the way. I'm not going to need it anymore. And then what I'm going to do now, I'm going to press S and Y, bring it in, put it into place. So S and Z, let's put it into place like so, making sure that it's fitting in very nicely. It's a little bit, probably not long enough at the bottom. So S and Z, like so, and then Shift D, bring it over. Let's fit it into this one then. So S and Y, and then finally this one. So Shift D, and then S and Y, like so. And then let's bring it round here. So Shift D, R, Z, 90, pull it into here, like so. I'm just going to leave it there just for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Shift D, and bring it over then to the other side. Put it in there. And we can see that we've got a little bit of hanging over here with this wall here. So let's press S and Y, bring it in a little bit, making sure it's not overhanging. Pull it over. And there we go. That's now nice and clean. Pull this out a little bit, making sure that it's not too far that way. And then finally what we can do is we can just delete this wall here. So delete faces of that gray box. And now bring my wall around. So R, Z, in fact, Shift, D, RZ, 90, bring in my wall. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure that I didn't duplicate this and create two walls instead of one. Okay, so there's that one there. Grab this one. Let's just press G, right click to drop back in place, and we can see that's fine. It's just that it's stuck out here. So I'm going to press S and X and pull it in like so. All right, so now I'm going to do is I'm going to grab each of these going all the way around, press Ctrl A, all transforms, right click, set origin to geometry, press the tab button, U, unwrap, S, make them bigger, and there we go. Now they're looking pretty nice, exactly the way I want them to. Okay, so finally one more broken bit of wool, which I'm going to put probably just down here. I'm also wanting to pull this out just a tad, because it's not, this actual platform was hanging over there. That's not something I want. So what I'll do is I'll pull this over now, press S and Y, pull it out, double tap the A, like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this one. This one's hanging over a little bit. Now, instead of moving this part this time, I'll just move this to the side, like so. Double tap the A, and maybe just move it a little bit. Double tap the A. Yeah, like so. That looks really nice now. Okay, let's come to File, Save, 3, and then we'll make this little broken piece of wall in here. So I'm going to come to this one. I'm going to press K, come on in, and just a little sliver of a broken wall, like so. Come round, grab the face, and then what I'm going to do is press E, pull it back a little bit, like so. And then finally now what I can do is I can come, grab this one with the broken wall, press Ctrl L, and we're going to link materials. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 3 on the number pad, come back to this one, grab this part, click U, project from view, assign, S to make it bigger, and then again we're trying to get it to be the same size as these bricks here, which now it is. Double tap the A, and before we carry on now, let's just have a quick look at what we've actually created here. And there you go, absolutely beautiful, as you can see. Okay, so now let's think about our actual roof. So first of all though, before we do our roof, we want to actually give it some planks. Now it's easier to do it with planks because we want some planks actually stood out here as well. So our first chance to use our geometry nodes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to my asset manager, like so. I'm going to come down to the other file. So we go down to user library, and the one we want is geometry nodes, and the one we want first is planks. So let's bring in planks. Let's spin this round. You will notice, by the way, that the planks of wood already come in with a material. It's just a basic material. Now you will see that it's just a simple material, but actually if you click this on, you will see that all the planks have a different color. And to actually get this effect, if we go to the shading panel now, you can see that all it is based on is a geometry node with random per island, very, very close together color ramp, so to get these different colors, an RGB curve to distribute whether it's dark or light, and then finally into a principled and into a material output. I'm not actually sure, can I actually plug that straight into there? Yeah, it makes a little bit of difference, so the principled does make a bit of difference. Anyway, this is there just so that if you just want to use the material that the geometry node comes with, you of course can do that. Now if we go over to the geometry nodes, you will see this is one that I actually made from scratch, and you can tell that aside from the roof, you can tell that I knew a lot more what I was doing when I actually created this one. So the roof is a little bit more of an older geometry node, whereas this one it's more simple than the roof, but also it's put together much easier. So I'm saying that for this course, we're not actually going to be going into geometry nodes, but you can of course come in and mess around with these. Most of the time you will see what all of these do, at least in the plank one. So you can see here that this is the plank thickness, for instance, and you can see how that ties in to the extruded mesh, because this one is basically made from a grid. So it's made from a grid, and then from that grid we split it up into planks, we extruded them out, so you can see as we're going along, and then we basically join the geometry. In other words, we extruded and then we put a top on, and then we join the geometry, and then we merge by distance to make sure that the top and the bottom were together. You can also see if we come over, where is it? We've got one that says set material. This is how you set a material in geometry nodes, you know, to make sure that it's, I don't know, the texture or the shader that you want it to be. And you can see that's how that works. And finally, then we've got the bend. Now, the bend is a very complex. If I open this up like so, you'll see that this is pretty complex to get that actual bend into place. So now I can just go back. And to go back, all you're going to do is just got to right click and exit group. And that then is going to take you back to there. Now the bend, we need a few bends on there. So once we've got a bend, then we can actually change which angle we're actually bending at. And that's what we're going to be using this for, of course. You will find as well, this has a lot of subdivisions in this. And also the longer you make the plank thickness or the plank length, the more subdivisions it's going to give it, so that you can have a nice bend with this. All right, so that's pretty much that. As I said, we're not going to really dive into geometry nodes. What I am going to do though is supply you with your first geometry nodes, and then you can build up or make your own and use them throughout your scenes and projects. Really, really handy things to have. These geometry nodes, the roof one took me 2 or 3 days. The plank one took me about a day, but it was actually well worth it, because this actual geometry node I'm going to be using time and time again. It's so good. And I'll show you that on the next lesson. You'll see just how useful it is to have these things and how much time it'll actually save you. All right, everyone. So I really hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.